Hey, happy Monday, end of April. I wanted to share a couple of quick thoughts on the idea of making real estate housing market reports for your local market and why I think it's important. So I had this thought last week when we were sharing our own real estate market reports for the greater Philadelphia and southern New Jersey markets. And I also listened to a podcast and I was reminded of this quote by this housing economist who I follow and respect greatly, gal by the name of Ivy Zelman, who basically summed up a thought that I think we all need to embrace, right? She said that if a real estate broker came to her home and was not fluent and competent in their explaining and understanding of the real estate market at both a national level as well as a local level, essentially she would throw them out of her home, right? And I think we got to think about that in a lot of ways in the type of expertise that we bring to the clients that we represent. For me, this all started back in 2008. I remember sitting in my office distinctively, a couple of days after Lehman Brothers failed. And I was already experienced in the business, right? I'd already been in the business for over 15 years. I owned a brokerage at that point for a couple of years, but I wasn't a true student of all areas of housing at that point. I was a student of my own business, but I wasn't looking closely at the rest of the metrics. And I remember sitting there thinking, I got nothing going on. Like, what happened? And at that time, I dug into my local MLS, created a ledger that effectively showed, I tracked every month for 10 years, number of new listings that came onto the market, number of sales, median sales price, days on market. I tracked existing homes. I tracked new home sales. I looked at other non-specific housing metrics, but ones that impact supply demand, like household formations, population growth, right? Interest rates and what it meant to affordability. I looked at all of these things in a process that took, not to overglorify, it took a couple of hours, but I came away from it thinking, how did we all miss the ball, right? Like, this was very clear, very black and white, that the supply demand problem started back in 2005 and we just missed it. And at that point in time, I vowed to not let that happen again and to pay close attention. Went on making quarterly reviews. I made absorption rate reports. I made, we were living in an area, sold real estate in an area where we had a high rate of foreclosures. I made loss mitigation and default servicing reports, but really leaned into expertise and being able to not just be able to communicate expertise, but share it with clients and customers so that together we could then make the right decisions on how things were going to affect their market. Wanted to just share those thoughts. It was a big part of growing our business and positioning ourselves as experts in that time. And we need to continue to move forward and be not just experts, but advocates and counselors as we move forward for our clients and customers.